So we've now got episode 2 of The Walking Dead World Beyond. This episode is titled The Blaze of Gory. I thought it would be Glory, but for some reason it is The Blaze of Gory. Now if you have not seen this episode, it's going to be a full in-depth review giving 100% spoilers. So if you have not seen this episode and you do not want to get anything spoiled for you, do not watch this review. So going into this episode, my biggest thing was hoping that this time around, because my biggest takeaway from episode 1 was the fact that I really wasn't intrigued to continue on. The fact that the only reason I was continuing on with it is because it's a Walking Dead TV show. So my hope for this episode was for it to kind of convince me to watch it and continue on with the story, and not only because it's a Walking Dead show. Now, I will get into later on if that has changed my opinion or not, but to start off, first thing up we see is the episode 1 ended off with Iris making her way over to a walker to about kill her first walker, and she makes a bollocks of it. The walker pretty much, without biting her or anything, but the walker makes a fool out of her. It was kind of, as she was going to kill the walker, you see kind of flashbacks of Felix teaching them in a class, and she still makes a bollocks of it. He says, keep your distance, don't tire yourself out, just go for the brain. You see her stabbing throughout the entire body, and the thing that kind of annoyed me most about that is in episode 1, they really portray her to be a very intelligent person, but then right here, even though she knows how to kill a walker, she still stupidly seems to be going for the body, which would be okay if this was the start of the apocalypse, like in season 1 of The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, but they are 10 years into the apocalypse. There is no excuse for them to be going for the body when they know full well to kill them it's to go for the head. So that kind of opening scene annoyed me, and honestly it made me like Iris even less. And if you know from my review of episode 1, you know I'm not a fan of Iris as it is, and just the opening scene alone made me like her character even less than what they did already. But after that, they do kind of, she doesn't even kill the walker gets stuck and they make their way off. But then we come across another walker, which was a pretty fucking cool walker. First up, we see him, he's just sitting on the bench, and I was thinking, okay, he's probably one of those walkers that just die, they can't move on anymore. And all of a sudden his head lifts up and you hear a lot of bees, and I was thinking, oh fuck, is that the walker that has a beehive inside it? And then the walker opens his mouth and a shit ton of bees come out. I'm like, that's just a cool walker design. And this episode, in fairness to them, does have a lot of cool walker designs. Some of them was actually created by the actual characters in the episode. Like some of them were just generic walkers, but then they spray paint the face, and just by getting the spray paint in the face, they just look more intimidating, especially because it's a very highlighted orange on their face, so it just makes the walkers look really creepy. So having those walkers throughout this episode made this episode stand out to me just a little bit more, because of the fact that the walkers in this episode look very distinct, or as they call them, empties. But because they're the same age as me, I'm 20, I'm assuming they're in and around my age, I enjoyed the fact that they are, in a way, they still are kids, so they do have a bit of fun. One of the things that really stood out to me about this episode that I kind of thought, oh yeah, that's quite unique, and I would never see that happening with anyone else. Like, you'd never see, say, Daryl and Carol sitting in a treehouse spending the night there. I just thought that scene in and of itself was pretty cool. A walker that was spray painted with spray paint makes his way to the treehouse, and then trying to kill him, they drop a bowling ball in his head, which again, you probably would see Daryl and them using that if they had the opportunity, but we've never seen something like that to the extent of dropping a bowling ball on Walker's head. But within the treehouse, they're having a bit of fun. They're actually, you kind of see a relationship growing between not only Iris and Hope, growing their relationship stronger, but even those two creating relationships with the likes of Eldon, and I think the other guy's name is CS. I could be wrong on that, but they play Monopoly. I'm a massive fan of Monopoly, so it's pretty cool to see something like that in the Walking Dead universe. Just again, we've never seen anything like that, because you're not gonna see Daryl and Carol sitting down playing a game of Monopoly together. So something like that was cool to see within this universe. But then during the night, Hope can't sleep. She goes down to try kill the walker, and in fairness, she gave it a bit of a fight. It was better than watching Iris kill her walker, because I found Iris's kind of be pathetic, because in fairness, Hope wasn't trying to kill it, she was trying to lure the walker away, which again I don't get. I don't know why they tried to kill it, especially the fact that we know Hope has killed a person, but she has a problem killing a walker, which I don't get. So she tries to get it away, ends up falling in the kind of a drained pool. So she goes in, which, why is a pool drained? Like, now that I'm thinking of it, it's 10 years into the apocalypse, you'd think it would have been full with rainwater, but for some reason it has not been filled up. But anyways, the walker's trapped in there. She goes back up and goes back to sleep, and then that's the scenario of how they got rid of that walker. But as this whole story with them is taking place, we do know that Hank, I think her name is Hank, or Hook is her name, and Felix are still making their way towards our main group. We're getting a good bit of flashbacks throughout the episode explaining a bit of Felix's backstory, and I thought it was actually pretty interesting. The fact that his father kicked him out for being a gay man, even though Felix was once supporting the family, he was going to work, he was giving all his money to pay for everything, but his father still kicked him out even though they could not survive without him. And then as the apocalypse starts, Felix runs back to his house to try and be with his family in the end, and even try to save them, and his dad turns him away and tells him to go. So then Felix just leaves and he never sees his parents again. We even see him go back to the house during this episode, and it is revealed that both his parents died, and I'm assuming it was pretty early on they died because they were both still in the house. I'm assuming they just both starved to death or whatever went on because they died within it. We never actually got to see Felix killing them, but he says he killed them, so I'm assuming he did end up killing his parents, kind of giving a bit more backstory to Felix. And just after finding this backstory out about the Felix character, I do like him a good bit more because we kind of got a bit more depth to him. Same with Hope, where we got a bit more of a backstory to Hope in episode 1. Getting this backstory to Felix just makes me like his character just that little bit more. And even though we're getting all these backstories to Felix, Hook in particular, so far what I've seen of her, which in fairness we haven't really seen much of her, I'm not really a fan of her character. I hope we do get more of her and hope we get a backstory explaining, because I know she wasn't always in that community. She spent a good few years out on the road, so hopefully we get some more of her, a bit of backstory, because what I have seen of her so far, I'm not really a massive fan of her. She's not really a standout to me as of what we've seen so far, so hopefully she can develop and be a better character, because I would like to see a bit more from her, because she does seem a bit more unique, the fact that she's the only one who's really lived outside the walls. So hopefully we can see a bit more from her, getting a bit more backstory from her character. But then our small group of 4 people are making their way, and they make their way to the blaze of Gory, which apparently is a massive tire fire that has been going since the start of the apocalypse. And because it's constantly going, walkers keep getting attracted, and the more walkers that get attracted, more and more keep coming from the noise. So we get to see them make their way through that. But before they go to make their way through that, they do discuss it, saying, should we or should we not go through here? And the only one who makes sense, which I was kind of surprised by it, Hope is the only one saying we should not do this. And I 100% agree, they should not do this, because not only have it's their 10 years into the apocalypse and they've never killed a walker, but in this episode alone we see them try to kill 2 or 3 walkers and every single one of them panics. But now they're happily going into a continuous fire that is not stopping anytime soon, as well as there is literally probably hundreds of walkers in there, but they insist on going through it because the other way is completely out of their way, but at least that way they'd be safer than going through here. So I kind of found that to be a bit ridiculous, the fact that they're all completely for this. Even if it was Daryl and Rick going through here, I'd be still like, do you really want to go through that? That does not seem like a safe idea. But in fairness, Daryl and Rick are not idiots, so they would not go through here. So it just kind of annoyed me, the fact that they were willing to go through here, even though they are all beyond terrified of killing walkers. But it was cool to see that scenery, seeing all the school buses, the walkers, the smoke, seeing them make their way through that. I thought that was a bit of an interesting scenery to see. There was loads of scenes where they couldn't actually see what they were doing. They make their way through the buses, and they're talking like, "Ground, we made it out, we made it out." And they were happy to made it out. But they were only halfway through it. They hadn't even got to the tire fires, and as soon as I got there, I was like, oh shit. Now, I can't see anyone dying in this scenario just because we are only on episode, well, we're going on to episode 3 now. I can't see any of them dying. But then again, it is a 20 episode limited series. I can't see Hope or Iris dying. Eldon, I don't see either. Maybe Silas, I'm pretty sure his name is. I think he could be the one to go. But then again as well, I really can't see anyone dying in the scenario. But if anyone was to die in here, Silas is the one I'm putting my finger on to die. But again, I cannot see any of them dying. And then our episode finishes up. Felix and Hooks are making their way even closer to our group. And then our main group are sleeping on top of a bus in the middle of everything that's going on. And Hope makes somewhat of the smart decision to kind of leave them. I don't know if she's going back to maybe get help, or she's going to try and find a way through. Either way, Hope is now gone on her own. I'm kind of interested to see what is going to happen with her. Again, is she going to go get help? Is she going to try and find a way? Honestly, I have no idea where this is going. But again, I'm still in the mindset of where I don't really care for the show at the moment. I'm honestly only watching it for to see what's going to happen with the Rick Grimes movies, and just because this is a Walking Dead show. Other than that, I really am not interested in this show. Hope, I'm not even a massive fan of her as I was in episode 1. I still enjoy her, but Elton is my most favorite character now. I really liked him in this episode. I like the way he talks. I like how confident he is about almost everything except for killing walkers. He's a smart guy. I just like Elton in this show so far. Elton and Felix are the two characters that are standing out to me at the moment. Hope was there episode 1, but for whatever reason in episode 2 she just didn't really stand out to me as much. And Iris, I don't like Iris. I just think she's a stupid character who doesn't really think before she does anything, but she thinks she's a genius. I'm not a fan of Iris at the moment. Hopefully that will change, but who knows at the moment. But let me know your thoughts on episode 2 of The Walking Dead World Beyond in the comment section down below. Are you going to watch episode 3, or are you like me that you're only really watching this because it's a Walking Dead show? Hopefully episode 3 can change my mind and all this and actually make me a fan of the show, but as of right now I'm just watching it because it's the Walking Dead show. If you want to see my review of Fear the Walking Dead season 6 episode 1, which I still can't believe we're on season 6, that'll be dropping Monday, and then next Saturday will be my review of episode 3 of The Walking Dead World Beyond. So if you want to see all that, click the subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.